What's up, guys? My name's Cody Brockway, and we're back with another episode of Brockway's Vinyl Bites. Yeah, at long last, here we are ready to rock and roll together again. I hope you enjoy what I got planned for today's video. So what I've done is I've gone through my CD collection, went from A to Z, and I've pulled out CDs that I think are underrated by great bands. And if I missed a few, let me know in the comments. But these are these are CDs that I own that I think are underrated albums. Are they perfect albums? Not necessarily. But do they have enough good songs on them to be, more appreciated maybe than they are? Yeah. So let's start from A. Aerosmith, 9 Lives. Yeah, I freaking love this album. This album has a lot of good songs. And I just don't know if it gets the recognition that it deserves. We got songs like 9 Lives, Falling in Love's Harder Than These, Hole in My Soul, Taste of India is really cool, Ain't That a Bitch, Pink. There's lots of good tracks on this. And so maybe if you haven't heard this in a while, you should go pull it out and give it another listen, because this is a pretty solid album. Next up, AC/DC, Flick of the Switch. I'm a massive AC/DC fan, and this record really does not get I'm going to say that the respect that it deserves. A lot of people, of course, pay attention to one of the greatest albums of all time, Back in Black, but this one doesn't seem to get the recognition that it deserves. It's got, it's classic AC/DC. It's produced by the band. They had fired Mutt Lange at this point off the AC/DC project. So we get songs like Rising Power, Nervous Shakedown, Bedlam in Belgium. This is a decent record. It's a very raw rock record from 1983, and it's totally worthy of being in your collection if you're a fan of the band. Lots of AC/DC fans I know haven't even heard a song on this album, and that should change, because this album is excellent. Flick of the Switch, yeah. Next up, Black Sabbath, Dehumanizer. This is a decent, actually it's more than decent, this album's fucking kick-ass. This is a great album. This was 1992? Yeah, 1992. So they had reformed with the Ronnie James Dio era lineup of the band with Vinny Appice, Ronnie, Tony Iommi, and Geezer Butler. And this album is just killer. I mean, I is one of my favorite Black Sabbath songs. I listen to that all the time. TV Crimes, Master of Insanity, and of course it needs more recognition than it gets. It's a freaking decent album. And so is this one. Scary Monsters and Super Creeps, David Bowie. A friend of mine came into my store the other day, Second Chance Records, 20 Argyle Street, Caledonia. A friend of mine came into the store and picked up this album because he was a Bowie fan, but he had never heard this album, and he brought it home, and he was like, oh my God, this album's amazing. How have I not heard this before? And it's like, yeah, I mean, it sold pretty good. It had a couple of big singles on it, like Ashes to Ashes and Fashion, but over time, this just seems to not get as much recognition as, Let's Dance or albums that came before this, like Heroes, and even before that, Hunky Dory, Ziggy Stardust, that stuff, right? And this is the bonus track edition, so it has the re-recorded version of Space Oddity, Panic in Detroit, and a couple other tunes too. Some of my favorites on the actual album part, are Up the Hill Backwards, It's No Game Part 1 and 2. Fuck it, I love the whole album. It's great. David Bowie, Scary Monsters, and Super Creeps. Now we move ahead to my favorite band of all time. It's Genesis, We Can't Dance. Yes, I know this is not their best album, okay? But there are some pretty decent tracks on this album that would warrant giving it more listens. No Son of Mine. One of my favorite Genesis songs, No Son of Mine. Jesus, He Knows Me, that's a great song too. Love the video. The video's hilarious. And Ghost do a really cool cover of that too. Driving the Last Spike, Dreaming While You Sleep, Living Forever, Fading Lights, just those couple of songs alone is worth the price of admission, really. I mean, maybe some people don't like the sound of the album or whatever like that, but there's still, a good dose of good tunes on here. Genesis, We Can't Dance from 1991. All right. We're going to go to one of my other top 5 favorite bands, Iron Maiden. Yeah. One of the most beloved metal bands in the world. This album deserves more recognition than it gets, even from the band. The band never play, I say that, but I saw them play one song from this live. But for the most part, they never even touched this record live. And that's a shame because this album is awesome. And I even got a guitar pick taped on the back there. This album is awesome, like Brighter Than 1,000 Suns, These Colors Don't Run, Reincarnation of Benjamin Brieg, For the Greater Good of God, Out of the Shadows. Oh man, this is a great album. I freaking love this album. This is actually the first Iron Maiden record I ever heard, thanks to my dad, but I really love this album. And it deserves all the recognition in the world. It's a very, very good album. We're going back to 1988 with this one. This is Elton John, Reg Strikes Back. This is part of a really sort of spotty period for him. But there's lots of good songs on this. Mona Lisa's and Mad Hatter's Part 2. I Don't Want to Go On With You Like That. Town of Plenty, and arguably my favorite song on the album is A Word in Spanish. That's a great Elton John tune, and this album definitely deserves to be revisited because it is such a really good album. And the cover's kind of strange, but it's kind of cool too. Anyway, great album. Red Strikes Back. All right. We're going to keep on the metal path here with Metallica, Death Magnetic. Yeah, you guys, there's a lot of big Metallica fans out there. Metallica have a huge fan base. And so there is a percentage of people who appreciate this album, like me. But you know what? I just think, for the most part, all of you need to appreciate this more. This album is fucking dynamite. Sorry, mind my language here tonight, but I'm on fire. This album's fucking dynamite. It really is. Death Magnetic. I mean, That Was Just Your Life, The End of the Line, Broken, Beaten, Scarred, The Day That Never Comes, All Nightmare Long. That's one of my faves. This whole album is excellent. I mean, Cyanide, The Unforgiven 3, Judas Kiss, Suicide and Redemption, and My Apocalypse. There was not one shit song there. Everything was excellent there. And this album is just totally worth your time and energy. It's especially if you're a fan of the band. I don't like anything after the Black Album. Nah, hell with that. Hell with that. Go back and give this a shot. Excellent album. And so is the EP that followed it, Beyond Magnetic. Only 4 songs: Hate Train, Just a Bullet Away, Hell and Back, Rebel of Babylon. This is decent too, and these go together very well. All right, now we're going to go to the band that's on my shirt. Megadeth, The World Needs a Hero. You're damn right it does. And that hero will not come in a suit. Anyway, Motorcycle, Dread and the Fugitive Mind, Return to Hangar, Disconnect, The World Needs a Hero, Promises. This album it came right after Risk, and this is the first one that didn't have Marty Friedman on it in a long time. And people just don't give it the love that it deserves. I mean, just go back and listen to it again. I mean, you've given it time. It's been 20 years since it came out. This is a lot of decent material on this album. And, it's I enjoy it. Next up, Paul McCartney, Egypt Station. When this came out, I couldn't keep this damn album in my store. It was selling like crazy, and then all of a sudden, boom, it just became underrated. People are just, the songs on this are so great. Like, Back in Brazil, Come On to Me, Happy With You, For You, or Fa You, Who Cares, Confidant, Hand in Hand. That's one of my favorites. Um, this is the bonus edition that has the 2 extra songs. Get Started and Nothing for Free. Um, a lot of people were picking this album up when it first came out. And now it just seems like it doesn't get the recognition that I feel it deserves in his catalog. What happened to my screen here? Okay, we're back up and rolling. Yeah, so great album, great album. It deserves really good recognition. All right. I think this next band is underrated, especially in North America, Canada, even the U.S., even though they're American. They're huge in Japan. They had a massive hit song with a song called To Be With You. But this album is excellent. It went platinum, but it's still, I feel it deserves more praise than I feel it gets. Mr. Big, Lean Into It. Yeah. Talk about knowing how to play your instruments well and write great songs. This band was excellent. Daddy, Brother, Lover, Little Boy, the Electric Drill song. Alive and Kickin', Green Tinted 60s Mind, Lucky This Time, Voodoo Kiss, Never Say Never, Just Take My Heart. This whole album is just excellent. And great musicians all around. You got the master Billy Sheehan on the bass, one of the best bassists ever. And side note, his stuff in Winery Dogs is really good, and so is Sons of Apollo. Anyway, then you got Paul Gilbert on the guitar, Eric Martin on the vocals, and Pat Torpey on the drums, who just passed away in recent years. R.I.P. Pat Torpey. If you've never heard this album, you need to go hear it. This record is absolutely rockin'. All right. Another well-loved band here. But this album is their very first album, and you could argue that it does not get the recognition that it does deserve, and that's Queen with the first album, Queen 1. Sorry the lighting is not so good on the cover here, but Queen 1. Yeah, Keep Yourself Alive, Doing All Right, Liar, Son and Daughter. Excellent. I mean, this is just a great rock album, and the way they set it up so that this album plays into the next one, which plays into the one after that. Excellent album. And it would start off a magnificent career in rock and roll, for sure. We're going to skip ahead to the 2010s here, again. This is from 2013. I was in high school when this came out, and this was a pretty big moment for this band. Their original guitarist had rejoined forces with them after he had left the band due to drug issues, and then became a born-again Christian, got clean, and rejoined the band, and that is Korn on the Paradigm Shift. I think this album is excellent, and not a lot of Korn fans, there's a lot of Korn fans that don't really give this album the appreciation that it really does deserve. There's a lot of great cuts on this. I mean, the whole album is really good top to bottom, but Love and Meth, Mass Hysteria, Paranoid and Aroused, Never Never, Punishment Time, Lullaby for a Sadist, yeah. And this is the one with the bonus tracks, Wish I Wasn't Born Today and Tell Me What You Want. There's other great songs on here too. Don't take my word for it. Go listen to it. It has a really good mix of electronic sounds and things like that and metal music together. Very excellent. All right, we're going back to 94 with this one. Sorry, not 94, 95. Sorry. Yeah, even I make mistakes. Anyway, 95. It's the last album with their second singer. And it just, it's got a couple of big hits on it. Can't Stop Loving You and Don't Tell Me What Love Can Do. But it deserves any good praise that it gets because it's a very decent album. Great production, great singing, great playing, great writing. That's Balance by Van Halen. I actually have an original of this on vinyl, which I'll drop a photo of in here. But we got The Seventh Seal. We got the two songs I mentioned before. We got Amsterdam, Big Fat Money. We got Not Enough, which is sort of like a ballad. Lots of great other stuff. Aftershock, Doing Time. Yeah, pretty good album. And it's produced by Bruce Fairbairn too, who was producing a lot of great records at the time. And I think he actually had some production in the next one that we are going to talk about as well after this. But yeah, the last Van Halen record with Sam Hagar, not including the couple of songs that they recorded for the Best of Both Worlds compilation. Decent album. If you haven't heard this one in a while, go back and listen to it. You might find you appreciate it more than you ever did, or maybe you love it too. Maybe you're like me and you love the record. And if so, hats off to you. The last one, this last band we're doing a two for them. This one came out the year after I was born, which that would be 1999. That is The Ladder by Yes, also produced by Bruce Fairbairn. He actually passed away right near the end of the production stage of this album. R.I.P. Bruce Fairbairn, Canadian guy too. This does not get the praise that it deserves. This is one of Yes's best albums. Okay, I mean, I know it didn't come out in the 70s and whatever, but it's still a really great return to form. I mean, not that they ever really, weren't Yes at that point, but yeah. Anyway, great album. Homeworld, Homeworld, The Ladder. It'll Be a Good Day, Lightning Strikes, Face to Face, If Only You Knew, Finally, New Language, 9 Voices. Like, there's 11 tracks on this. I didn't read all the titles, but there's 11 tracks on this, and the whole thing is just really worthy of your attention, especially if you're a Yes fan, and you didn't give this the attention that it deserves. Go listen to it. This also got great album cover artwork by Roger Dean. This is an original CD from the 90s, too. This actually used to be my dad's. I pasted a sticker on the back of it there, a little spaceship. Anyway, we used to listen to this together all the time. Still do. But, yeah, great album by Yes. And the last one is also by Yes. It's Big Generator. Big Generator from 1987. It came just after they had done 90125 in 1983. And, they had their biggest charting album to date, biggest selling album to date with that one, 90125. And they took a while to record this one, and there was just lots going on in the studio with band members, this and that. But regardless, a pretty good album came out of it. We got Rhythm of Love, Big Generator, Shoot High, Aim Low, Almost Like Love, Love Will Find a Way, Final Eyes, I'm Running, and Holy Lamb. That's every track on this. It is really worthy of your time. It does have that 80s sound. It is the second record with Trevor Rabin, who, by the way, just digitally here in Canada, but in the States, it's on CD. He just released a new album called Rio, and I've listened to it on Apple Music. It is very good. I cannot wait until us Canadians can get the CD, and we will have it in stock for you at Second Chance Records. Anyway, if you have records in mind that did not make the video that you feel are underrated, please leave them in the comments for me, and we'll have a discussion. I hope to hear from you, and I hope you enjoyed the video. So like and subscribe, and we'll see you again very soon. Thanks, and rock on! Yeah! Bye.